Hi, welcome back to Frankly Wines in the time of Corona. It's Thursday, April 23rd, time for drinking in the now. And you know what's happening right now? This country has a giant pink wave that is just ready to rip through it, and that pink wave is known as Rosé season. Not even COVID-19 is going to stop Rosé season. And I know this because the second it got even slightly spring-like outside, the requests started pouring in. Now, fortunately, also pouring in right now are boats full of boxes and boxes of 2019 Rosé coming over from Europe. We did start seeing some of the 2019 Rosés last winter that were coming from the Southern Hemisphere, but today we're going to mainly just focus on this new vintage. So let's quickly just talk about how Rosé is made, because I realize that there's a lot of confusion out there. So first off, Rosé is made kind of like a white wine, but from red grapes. It wouldn't be pink if there wasn't red grapes in it. So there's two main ways that people make Rosé. They either do what's called the Saignée method, which is actually was kind of started more as a method to concentrate a red wine. So as they would bring in the grapes for their red wine and they would start loading them into the fermenter, the weight would start to crush the grapes at the bottom. And this pretty clear juice, or just lightly pink juice, would start to run off from the grapes that were getting squashed at the bottom. They realized that if they let this grape juice bleed off, they concentrated the ratio of skins to remaining juice in the tanks, and therefore the red wine that was made would be bolder. But what do they do with this juice that kind of was bled off, or the free run juice that kind of already exited the tank? Well, they realized they could make a nice rosé. So the main difference between that and the other way, which I think even more rosé is made, is that you wait to pick those grapes until you're ready to make the red wine. Usually you pick red grapes that are fully mature for red wine a little later in the season. You need to make sure that the stems and the seeds and the skins, you want to make sure that grape is fully ripe so that it doesn't have any harshness or green tones to it. However, a lot of times for rosé, people want there to also be really high acidity, because much like white wines, you want them to be very crisp, racy. So it's oftentimes people will kind of pick some grapes early and they'll make rosé from that, and then they'll let some of the other clusters remain on the vine for a few more months. I have been in Italy when we did this. We did early passes on the vineyards, pulled some grapes in. Those were the ones that were for rosé. Any sort of cluster that was kind of big and seemed more promising, we let remain on the vine for a few more weeks, because those were ultimately going to be the grapes that went in to the nicer red. But in this method, we're going to take the grapes, destem them, crush them, and then you're going to let them spend anywhere from as low as 2-4 hours in contact with those grape skins to pick up just a little pink. On the extreme end, you might let it go 12 to maybe 20, 24 hours, and in which case you're going to start getting a darker color to the wine. Now, the dark color does not mean it's sweeter. If anything, it means that it's picked up more, it's going more in the direction of what the true red wine would be. It's probably picked up a lot more of the personality and nuance of the actual grapes and terroir, place where it's from, that the rosé is coming from. So now this is where I'm going to step in with my PSA. A lot of people like to tell me that they pick their rosé based on the color, and the paler the better. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to assume you basically want a white wine then with just little hints of red fruit to it. Well, here at Frankly, we always taste everything. We really do not like to put anything on the shelf unless we know we've tasted the new vintage or we've tasted the wine in general, because we want to make sure that we, pick wines that we really feel happy to sell you. And the other reality is there's too much good wine now to be selling crap. So, that being said, one of the things that I have consistently kind of found sometimes with the really pale rosés is that they don't have any varietal characteristic. They could be from anywhere. I don't care if they're Cabernet or Grenache or Cinsault or Pinot Noir, if they're really, really pale, sometimes you don't necessarily know. I'm like, I don't know what I'm drinking. This isn't to say that some pale rosés don't nail it. I mean, we're about to taste the very first one today, which, as you can see from the bottle, is a very light rosé. So this is going to be Grenache Noir, 100%. We are in the Côte Catalanaise, so we're practically at the Spanish border, down at the Mediterranean in France. This is kind of a cool thing. So this is a husband-wife team, Marjorie and Stéphane Gaillet. They have another winery called Rosé. I speak Italian, not French, okay? So let's just cut that clear. I'm gonna screw up my French words. Anyways, so they met in winemaking school in Montpellier, and they eventually were able to buy this estate, and their big focus, they do everything organic and biodynamic as well. However, Marjorie works with several of the local growers and is helping to teach them how to farm organically and convert their vineyards over. And rather than be paid in, monetarily, she's paid in grapes, and that is what she makes this Le Fête de Papillon line from. So Le Fête de Papillon means butterfly effect, but technically these are grapes that she receives from other local farmers, not their own. 4 to 6 hours on the skins gives it this really, really light color, but the thing is, it's not lacking personality. Like, it's got great kind of white peach, a little bit of this watermelon Jolly Rancher, not sweet, more the tartness, the brightness of it. Additionally, I think the biggest thing to note that though it's a pale rosé, there's a lot of texture. It has great roundness to it. The acidity isn't driving, but it's very prominent there. And in the end, it's just for a value as well. For $14, you have a really kind of elegant, easy pale rosé if you like them. Great for snacks, great for hanging with friends, just, an easy no-brainer. Now, my next rosé is from my people, the Italians. So we're back up in northern Piedmont. This is the Iopa Nebbiolo Rosato from the Collini Nevaresi. So we're up near Novara, along the Sesia River. They're technically in Gamay. I didn't get the exact time. They say that they do a pretty short time in the press before they kind of get it off the skins. I would still say they probably did 8 to 12 hours of skin contact in order to get this color. However, the thing I love the most about this, it drinks like it's a Nebbiolo. I mean, it's Nebbiolo. It's got these great rosy aromatics, a little bit of wild strawberry, but best of all, it is so racy and kind of mouth-filling. It's still got this really kind of bright on its toes acidity, but it's lovely, and it speaks Italian. Like it's talking with its hands, as do I. It has so much personality to it, and they're up north, they're in the mountains, there's no problem getting acidity, and yeah, this is just a lovely rosé. I'll take this one for my next PSA. They're making good rosé all over the place now. For rosé to be good, it doesn't mean that it has to be from Provence. Anyone can make it, and since it's such a prominent category nowadays, a lot of winemakers do. All right, so getting my last rosé, I wanted to do an American, and you'll notice we've actually got some good color on this guy. So this is the Brock Cellars Love Rosé, which is coming from, the vineyards are in Solano County as well as Mendocino. So Solano County is like east of Napa as you come around the top of the bay towards, Oakland and Berkeley. Now, 80% of this wine is made from a grape called Valdiguet, which you may not have had a ton of experience with. People called it Napa Gamay. It tends to offer a lot of kind of color to it. Here, though, they feel it brings a lot of acidity. There is then 14% Zinfandel in here, and that Zin is certainly adding not only just to the body and the depth of the fruit, but it's giving it a little bit more savory spice. So yeah, of the three of these, this certainly has a little bit more roundness to the palate. It's very savory. It's got this like tomato leaf and wild herb thing going on. But this makes me want to eat. I want to have like a pizza with this. I want to roast a chicken. I want to have some bruschetta. It's ironic that the Italian I would just crush on its own, and this guy actually I think wants for a little more, and it's probably again because they let those grape varieties speak for themselves. Should also be noted, it comes in cute little cans. So the cans are basically equivalent of a half bottle. Same exact juice, bottle in a bottle here, bottle in a can here. Perfect for the beach or for the park, no glass. All right, so before I completely run out of time, I just want to quickly highlight a couple of the other 2019 rosés that have just hit the shelf. So another Frenchie, but this one pretty sure it's Saunier. This is going to be a rosé from Sancerre. So Sancerre rosés are based on the Pinot Noir grape. The cool thing about Sancerre rosé is it still has that limestone soil, so you get that kind of Sancerre finish, even though you get a little bit of that soft Pinot Noir fruit up front. But that's lovely. Now we'll do a Pinot Noir rosé, but here we are in Santa Barbara County. This is the Ludi 2019. This has got such sunny, beautiful like strawberry fruit to it. It really feels California. It just feels fresh and easy, and this is going to be a little bit more mineral and cut. Here you're just kind of had this recently with some cheese, and it was perfect. Now another kind of notable California guy that we only get a couple cases of at the beginning of the season is the Arnott Roberts Rosé. Now they're in Sonoma, they're in Healdsburg, and last year it said North Clear Lake, which is up in the North Coast, but it doesn't say, but either way, it's still Touriga Nacional. Often that is a very big, inky Portuguese variety, but here clearly they don't do too much time on the skin. It might need a second to open up, but it eventually gives you this great kind of little spicy characteristic. Shout out to my New Yorkers. This is the Palmanac Dry Rosé. So they do this more like a Bordeaux style blend. We've got Cabernet Franc, Cabernet, and Merlot. Again, they're letting it hang out in the skins to give it just enough time to really feel that way, but you do feel a little bit more red fruit here. So I do tend to feel like this is a better wine for some food. Then, this is another one of our great values. It's a $14 a liter coming from the Pfalz in Germany. The grape is Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent is a very dark grape, so it's really easy for it to pick up this type of color. But this guy's got just this little thread of effervescence to it, and it's a liter. This is a total park wine. I'll wrap up the show with our the Vallejo. So this is a rosé from Abruzzo based on the Montepulciano grape. Totally light and easy, little watermelony, $11 holler. This is like you're having a party and you just need rosé to keep going all night, rosé all day. This is your guy. But if you wanted to know just a little bit more about rosé, I did want to take a moment to bring up my good friend Victoria James wrote this great book, Drink Pink, like a few years ago. We still have some copies. It's $20 a book. She talks about the history of rosé. She goes into more of the kind of the Saunier method and how rosés are made, and even just the history of it. So it's a very interesting read. If you love rosé and you want to know more, pick up Drink Pink. It's on the website as well as all these guys. We'll see you next time.